this video, I want to tell you about the long runs here. I'll tell you about the distances they run, paces, the location they run them in, as well as other things like nutrition and hydration. Hi again from Kapchorwa, Uganda. This is home of Ugandan running champions. There's been lots of excitement here over the last week and a bit after Jacob Kiplimo regained his half marathon world record. He's running his first marathon in April in London, which I'm looking forward to. Also, Joshua Cheptegei is running his second marathon in Tokyo this coming weekend. That to look forward to. Exciting times. In this video, I want to tell you about the long runs here. I'll tell you about the distances they run, paces, the location they run them in, as well as other things like nutrition and hydration. Mixed in will be an interview with one of the athletes from here, Allan Kibet. He's been training with a team in Japan over the past year. He's back here on holiday, and he provides some interesting insight into the differences between long runs here and the long runs he's doing in Japan. But before I do so, I wanted to say a big thank you to those of you who donated to the recent fundraiser I did to raise money to bring 2 more GPS watches to give out in a free raffle. It managed to reach the target, $175. I've purchased the watches, they're used Garmin's, and in a video in the near future, I'll share the free raffle with me giving the watches out. Many thanks for the support. I'm sure the watches will mean a lot to the athletes that win them. So the long run is really important for the distance athlete. It's going to provide a number of benefits, including increasing aerobic capacity, strengthening muscles and tendons, increasing fat utilization as an energy source when running, and also providing race-specific training for those running longer races like the marathon and half marathon. The athletes here will typically run them once a week. In terms of distance, for the athletes training for 5K races and longer, their long runs will typically be between 20 to 30 kilometers. For those training for longer races like the marathon, their long runs could be even longer than that. So I know certainly Joshua Cheptegei and Jacob Kiplimo have been running long runs as long as 45 kilometers as they prepare for their marathons. For the middle distance athletes here, 800 to 1500 meters, not quite as long. They'll be doing long runs between 15 and 20 kilometers. In terms of location, the best place to do long runs here is Bulambuli. I've done a previous video where I talked about how the athletes here vary their altitude as part of their training. Bulambuli is a 30-minute drive from Kapchorwa. It's lower altitude, it's at 1,100 meters and flat. The elite athlete teams will be going down to Bulambuli regularly, once to twice a week, doing their long runs there as well as other workouts like tempo runs. For the majority of the other athletes, they won't go down as often. A return trip from Kapchorwa to Bulambuli costs between 10 to 20,000 Uganda shillings, or $3 to $6 US dollars. And this will have to come out of the athlete's pocket, and they'll struggle to meet this cost on top of their other day-to-day expenses, and so end up missing out on this valuable part of their training. On this occasion, I joined one of the local camps here, the prison camp. The majority of the athletes in this group are registered prison officers. They joined the service so as to be part of their athletics division and receive a wage whilst they train. You may recognize a few of the athletes from my previous videos. A few of the athletes in this group will be part of foreign elite management teams, but teams that currently don't have enough athletes in the Kapchorwa region to have standalone training groups, and therefore these athletes will remain in the local camps during their training.
Second 5K, 310. The third one is 10, 305. The last 5, 300.
It was 2022 where I started running. Currently now I'm with the Japanese team where the team is called Konica Minolta. I usually do long run once in a week. I usually do 20 kilometer to 25 kilometer because I am still focusing on the track section, and I usually run 10,000, 5,000, so I'm focusing on that.
At this point in the run, I'd already been left by quite a distance. I've picked out Gideon, who I've circled. He ran a total of 26 kilometers and averaged out a pace of 3:19 minutes per kilometer pace. So not quite meeting the target set by the coach, but by all means still a fast long run, which I find is often the case here, that their long runs are run fast within about 30 seconds of their minute per kilometer race pace, which will be beneficial for those athletes running the longer races, half marathon to marathon, as it's providing race specific training. But they do have to ensure that they're getting adequate recovery around these sessions. Uganda has 2 rainy seasons, 2 dry seasons in between. We're currently in a dry season between December and early March. And during this period, the temperatures can get higher at lower altitudes. In terms of nutrition, the athletes here generally don't tend to eat before runs, which may provide some benefit in training the body to hold on to glycogen stores for longer, but they also don't fuel on the runs. And this may be affecting their performance, hindering recovery, and also putting strain on their immune systems. Things are very different for the athletes in the elite teams, who will have all the latest in fueling provided to them during their training.
Here in Kapchorwa, you don't feed in the morning. You have to go first training, then you come and feed. But in Japan, you feed, then you go for training. You have a lot of energy when you are training. I ran 20 kilometers without water, no any drink. When I was finishing my long run, I was tired. When I compare this long run with one in Japan, in Japan, usually when you are going for long run, after every 7 kilometers, they give you water, some drink, like also they give you some juice which they give you. It adds you some energy, and then if you are finishing that long run, the body is just okay.
On this run, the athletes got handed water only once at around 20 kilometers. I found that the go-to drink for the athletes in the local camps here, when they are able to get it, is Ribena. So that's an example of a long run here. I think the athletes would hugely benefit from better nutrition and also support with transport so that they can do more of their sessions down in Bulambuli. I'd like to know about your long runs. Also, if there's anything unique you do on your long runs. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure other viewers will be interested too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.